G'day everyone. Barkarati is now brought to you by Disruptor Marine Marketing, using AI to help your marine business grow. And our friends at Radix Nutrition, the most technically comprehensive nutrition products ever to exist. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer. At that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
BP, how's Port Stephens?
Oh, it's glamour. It's glamour, mate. It's living up to its reputation. It's perfect sailing all week. We've been absolutely charmed with the weather. A little bit of a southerly shot through last night for the final day today, but it's settled out. The sun's out. So a bit of breeze for today, but then we're all done for the Commodores Cup, which is the first week of Sail Port Stephens. But I can tell you what, they've turned it on.
Cool. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll do a bit of a discussion. Yeah. Let's see what the other fella's up to.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bryce.
Gents.
Oh! My God, there's been some theories about you floating around, I tell you.
Oh, yeah. Apologies. I was coming in, for the big, having done the big stint overseas and then coming in for the big, not really a comeback as such, but last week just caught me out a little bit at the old man's 79th birthday.
Oh, wow.
The Pavlova caught you out.
Second most listener, most listens on Barkarati history behind my mum and your mum, of course, are running equal, BP.
Yep.
But no, just back on the home deck, only for another week.
Yeah, there was some theories there, boss. Like, see, I'm not used to saying your name anymore, boss. I keep referring to it.
That's fine. I get it. I'm getting the hint. That's fine.
Yeah, there was a lot of jokes coming in about Land Rovers breaking down, not being able to afford fuel, not being able to afford the oil, not being able to find the oil. We saw that you were on a crime spree in Western Australia. That was a funny one.
Stealing briskets. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah, that's a beauty, that is.
That was hilarious. Like, and you were wearing Martine's beard. That was a good one. And then there's somebody ID that wasn't you because you didn't have the person didn't have Crocs on. I laughed.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I tell you what, though, you needed to go on a crime spree after filling up the Land Rover yesterday. Holy shit, $300 worth.
Yeah.
Just to wake up to this morning saying fuel prices are about to drop. So, no, that was awesome. Good timing, Vice. Yeah,
I'm
really
not
good.
Sure that they're about to drop. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see. There's plenty going on at the moment. Let's not geopolitical things. What are you going to say, BP?
Well, normally you don't mind a bit of politicalism into the podcast, Jordan.
I've got to be careful.
Nothing's been going on lately.
I've got to be careful. It crosses over.
He's had his status raised, Bicey.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
Anyway. All right, shall we get our guest on board?
Before we go there, BP, the status has been raised, the security clearance. Let's not forget the original. I get this phone call from this random person saying, "Oh, do you know Jordan Spencer? Blah, blah, blah." And then someone in the background goes, "Jordan Spencer? Is he on Barkarati?"
This is a security check, yeah. It's quite
bit of a security check, but someone in the room heard the name and was an avid Barkarati listener.
Yeah.
No security check needed.
Very funny, that one.
He'll be fine.
Anyway, we're influential. We're listened in millions of places that we don't even realise. So, and thank you everyone who does listen to us and puts up with us. It's much appreciated. Our guest this week is a bloke we've actually mentioned on the show before. I remember distinctly mentioning him. He's a German sailor based in Malta. And, he's spent most of his life in Malta. Still races under the German flag, but in reality, I think he's lived in Malta since he was 5, which is a beautiful part of the world that I desperately want to go and spend time. I think you both have done some time in Malta. Middle Sea racing, I'm guessing.
If you could call it done some time, we'll say that.
Yeah. Middle Sea racing.
Some time. Geez, if I was there any longer, I would have been doing some time, I tell you. Oh, Bradshaw Keller.
Bradshaw jumping in. Yeah. So he's what I would describe as the future. Basically, he's been an amazing career, performing. I think second at the Opti World Champs, which is an amazing thing.
Not a bad little list, is it? Not a bad list.
It's not a bad list. Won Wasp Falling Week, fifth at the Moth Worlds, under 23 World second in the under 23 World Champs 23, first in the Junior World Champs in the 49er 24, 10th at the 49er World Champs last year, and has had some great places at some of the major Olympic events or build-up events, including winning Princess Sophia. So just gone. So the 55th.
The one that gets me, it was only 7 years ago. He's second at the World Championships in the Optis. I mean, now that's when Baccarati started. To give you an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you trying to say? There's some sort of correlation going on here.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that it's just one of those things, isn't it? The guard, the changing of the guard.
Let's find out. Richard Schultheis, welcome to Baccarati, mate. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. No, excited to be here.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Actually, we've as Jordan has mentioned, we've always talked about you. Watched your career, which I've got to say is pretty stand out, and obviously it's continuing into all these different phases. So you're busy now.
Yeah, no, it's always starting to get more busy now, with lots of sailing coming into life, but also from different boats classes, and kind of now juggling several boats classes and trying to learn from each class, but not overloaded. Still have a goal in mind, but no, it's very fun. Very exciting process.
That's the problem, isn't it? It's all too much fun. There's all too much fun about this so quickly. You got to go and do it all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tell us, you've got a sort of interesting history, like starting out in the sport. Obviously, you didn't get a choice to go sailing. Dad just threw you on the boat from the start.
Well, not exactly. I mean, we moved to Malta as a family when I was 6 years old, so 15 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two older sisters, and then we started. My dad was a little bit into sailing, but not close to what level we're doing it as siblings currently.
Mm.
And then the opportunity kind of came to us as we were living in Malta, and kind of us three siblings tried it out, and it seemed like, or we quite enjoyed it. And then it was only on the weekends, and then me and my sisters were like, oh, we quite enjoy it. If we enjoy it so much, let's do it properly. And then we started doing it during weekdays and so on. So then it was mainly us kids driving, our parents that, why don't we go to sailing a couple of times more often?
And then the look on your parents' face as they start seeing price tags come in of boats and toys and
that came later down the line.
Yeah, well, but it's obviously they've supported you, so I guess you've got a big appreciation for the effort they've put in and the opportunities they've given you.
Yeah, no, we're super grateful for our parents to have supported our hobby, which became our profession at some point or in the future. But no,
Sure.
I apologise. I had in my notes here that you were first thrown on a boat with Dad at a couple of months of age, but then I did know that Malta, I think you moved to Malta at 5 and started sailing around 7. That's what my research has shown me. So how do you go from Germany to Malta? Like, where were you living in Germany, and then why Malta?
So we grew up in we were all born in Berlin, me and my siblings. And we lived there, and then basically mainly due to weather reasons, we moved to Malta just because the sun, and
I thought it was going to be something like, your dad got a big job, and it was. I
was thinking the whole
nicer weather.
I knew it would be the weather. Can you imagine Berlin over Malta? Jeez.
Oh, mate, I've spent lots of time in Malta. Richard, I've done 4 or 5 middle sea races, I think. So, Valletta and the surrounds for me are quite sort of, normal. So, and I do know the area. It's a beautiful place to go to.
Yeah, no, it's a great place, and even the Rolex Miltesy race I've done I've done it myself actually. It's I think one of the best short offshore races there is in the world, with
100%.
like iconic landmarks you're rounding, and the race is not so straightforward, super variable, and it's a great length. So I think it's one of the best sailing events Malta is providing.
It's interesting because obviously you moved to Malta at a young age. You still race under the German flag, but Malta as a nation has been incredibly supportive of you. Like I've seen, there seems to be a lot of pride. Like I think you were the youth athlete of the year or something one year, and stuff like that. So it must be this sort of really interesting. Are you getting the best of both worlds? You're getting the best of German and best of Malta? Is that what's happened for you?
So I actually started sailing in Malta, and then I sailed all my junior career for Malta. And then not until 15 months ago, and I didn't find a sailing partner for the 49er, and the opportunity arose to switch to Germany for the Olympic campaign.
Okay. Yep. So you couldn't find a Maltese or a Maltese sailing partner for the 49er, which was your destined path?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so then that's when that, and I mean, that must, I guess it's a tug of war personally for you because you've got a lot of, I guess ties to Malta. But I guess in your heart, you're carrying the Maltese flag as well, yeah?
Yeah, no, it was a difficult decision, a long one.
Yeah.
But then ultimately I wanted to compete at the Olympic Games. And I thought this was the best way forward. But still, all my roots and Malta still feels like home, and I still live there.
Yeah.
So I still go back there, and there's lots of good people, and at the yacht club from my home club, and no, that's essentially where I learned the sailing, and from all the coaches there as well. So
the yacht club, Jay, is a very forward-thinking yacht club. So I'd be thinking that. That wouldn't necessarily affect them. I mean, they'd love a Maltese medal, there's no question, but I'm pretty sure that it's still going to be a Maltese medal. So it's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, no medal yet, but
no, I get that.
Something we're working towards.
Dream. It's the dream.
Yeah.
So this opportunity was to start with Fabian, I take it. Fabian Riga is and obviously a bit of experience in the 49ers. So you've come together to take on that challenge and to go for the Olympics, yeah?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. Pretty good start. I think I'm pretty sure your first race was last year's Princess Sophia. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's we got together the short training camp beforehand in Palma, like most Olympic sailors do, and then it was kind of a jump straight into a regatta, and then trying to figure out who takes which sheet, and trying to simplify the rows on board.
Yeah, and second on debut, so that's a nice way to start. Must have given you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, obviously a good start, but we were also aware that it was a post-Olympic year, and maybe the fleet was slightly more relaxed than leading up to the games. But still, I think it's a good start. But still a long way forward.
Yeah. So when it came to the pairing with Fabian, how did that come about? Was that with you two talking to each other, or was that through the German Federation, or like how did it work?
We as sailors, you know of each other, and then I mean, everyone just walks around the boat park. It's quite funny because we travel all around the world just to see the same people, the same faces. But we kind of knew of each other.
Mate, as time goes by, nothing changes. Trust me.
And then we started talking last year, and then he asked me, would there be something you would consider? And then I thought long about it, and we had a kind of like a test sail and see how it all runs. And then after the Moth World Championships, when I was in New Zealand, I decided it might be a good way to go forward.
it's a pretty interesting path. Like, you've done the normal things where starting in the Opties and the 29ers and the 49ers, you're doing the Moths. I think I saw you in the Wasps as well, one falling week, pretty much overall. I think that was 2020. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So,
I think I'd just like to just butt in there, Jay, and say starting and following the normal path.
The modern normal path.
The modern normal path. Second in the Opti Worlds in 2019. I mean, that alone is huge. I mean, the fleet is so hotly contested, and obviously the amount of coaching and time that's spent, with all of the kids is huge. Just quickly on that. Where did you get your coaching for that? And I mean, you were obviously just performing naturally at a level that got you that result.
Yeah, I mean, I started with 7 in the Optimist, and right from the start, I had good training partners to train with, which was my sisters, and I was just pushing each other to. Mainly because we were enjoying it, but further to develop and trying to reach a better level. And then we started to go to train internationally as well and race in some international events. And there we got to meet some good coaches, one of which was Mauricio Bencic from Slovenia.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that was, I think, in 2014, and that started a long relationship with him, which basically to the end of my Optimist career. And I think there was a very good partnership with me and with my sisters, and then we kind of built a good training group and always invited lots of internationals to come over. And if it would be internationally training in Europe in the summer, and then in winter there would be open training camps in Malta, because in the winter you can't really race in the north of Europe or sail in the north of Europe. And that's kind of where it all started, but obviously also with the coaches from the Malta Young Sailors Club where I started sailing. It's a combination of both, so it was a really good atmosphere also with the sailors and the training group, and always wanting to push.
Fantastic sailors in Malta, I know that for a fact, but it's a really interesting path.
I want to highlight BP, of course, if you know your history, 2019, that Opti. That was the third year of Marco Gradoni with his Opti World Championship win. So you had to face off against Marco through your Opti career. So how was that? That guy has done very well.
Yeah, no, we had quite a few years of facing against each other.
Yeah.
He always took the better of me at the World Championships, but no, it was a good battle we had along the years. Also started with some training together in the beginning,
mm-hmm.
and but ultimately he sailed the World Championships really well, and hats off to him. That's quite a feat to win 3 worlds in a row.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just imagine, like we all have that one person in our career that we've just butted heads against all the way through, and like you've got to have this rival. So, of course, Marco's off in. Go on,
Jay. Butted heads.
Yeah. No, well, in my head. So you've got to have this rival. So I think Marco's off doing America's Cup stuff. Are you happy to see the back of him at the moment?
Well, I was hoping we'd face each other in Olympic classes, but fortunately that's not that's not the case in the next few years. But no, I think he got a great opportunity with Luna Rossa to join their team, kind of the youth program in the last cycle, and now joining the cup team. And I think that's a great path the Italians are paving for the young sailors to join the top of the sailing world, essentially. So it's good to see.
100%. The step from Optis to foiling, how was that for you? Because you obviously it didn't take you long winning the Wasp foiling week in 2020, which is a year after your Optis. So you obviously just are completely gifted in terms of natural ability, but that was a big step, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite big, but I actually had an overlapping stage with the Wasp and Optimist. So I actually started in the Wasp when I was 12, and essentially still racing the Optimist. So I had 2 years of sailing both classes, which was quite the change going from back and forth between going 14 knots upwind to 3 or 4 knots upwind. But I think I learned it was a lot of good things I could take from the Wasp, and I was also lucky to do a couple of good regattas in the Wasp class as well. One being actually.
Do you think you got things from the Wasp that you brought back to the Opti and vice versa? Hey?
Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe not the technical stuff in terms of the boat, but I think sailing wise and decision making, and also surrounding yourself with lots of new people and good sailors, it was a cool learning experience.
Absolutely.
I've just got this visual, BP, of Richard's first go on the Wasp, and he's grabbed his baler bucket from the Opti and put it on and watched it blow out the back as soon as it took off. It's just such different boats.
Oh, 100%. And, one would say traditionalists against the future. But it's a huge crossover, and that's why I asked, because ultimately, the step up, you started sailing early, but that's cool. But the step up and the change is obviously, it's a big thing to manage around the track, because the disciplines are so different.
Yes, yeah, the classes are quite different, but I think there's lots of positives you can take from it, and let alone even I found the physical aspect of Wasp being quite a physical boat. I could also keep myself fit and so on, but I think the Wasp class is one of the best junior classes to get into foiling, and the boat is not as fragile as some other foiling boats, and I think to get young people into foiling, and it's a great fun class, and it grew quite quickly. I started off at the first Wasp games in Campione in 2017, and seeing it grow now to what it is quite cool to see.
Excellent.
Yeah, they've improved them as well. They're gradually improving them, so they're getting to be better and better boats. It's intriguing though for me listening to you talk. Like at 12, sailing the Wasp, sailing the Opti, you've been sailing 5 years at that stage. It's obviously beneficial to have your sisters and the way you work as a family. I think that's would have been part of the strength. But like when you go Wasp sailing on Malta, there's no inland sailing. It's all open ocean, isn't it? Like you're in the Med. So were you ever nervous the first time you went out, wondering, I mightn't make it back?
I actually learned to sail the Wasp in Lake Garda, so there's the shore all around me.
But he did.
But the cool thing about Malta is you get
sail the Wasp too.
But the cool thing about Malta is you got a whole variety of conditions, and you can go out in some open waves and more big breeze, but then there's also some nice bays too, with some flat water or shifty. So I think you can
you get it all.
You get it all. But I did lots of my foiling in the past on Lake Garda, which is basically the hotspot for foiling in the world or Europe. So that was quite cool.
So how did it work? Being a young lad and getting all these opportunities and sailing in lots of different locations. Were your folks going with you, or your sisters a little bit older and they were going with you? Like how did you handle all the travel? How did your folks manage it to give you the opportunities?
It was a bit of a balance also with education and so on. But essentially it was the rule from our parents that if we don't get the best grades, we cannot skip school.
Right.
So it was always a kind of a job to do beforehand before we could get to travel.
Right.
And then once we achieve that, then we can, if we get all the work done beforehand, then we can get to travel, and essentially that worked, because then we could travel more and go sailing. But as long as the education was on good notes and on the right path. And that we got to combine with lots of other friends and sailors we raced with as well. So that was kind of a cool group to work together.
Yeah,
it's interesting, BP. I'm sitting here wondering, like, you're living on Malta, lovely spot. If you hadn't got into sailing, what do you think you would have got into instead?
I'm not too sure, but when we were young,
think there's been any thought about it.
It's evident, isn't it?
And school was a means to an end. I've just got to do good here, and then I'm away.
You love your sailing. It's coming across that you dig sailing, mate. Like it was all sailing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I definitely live sailing, but no, when I was younger, we did lots of other sports as well. I was really young. I started football, but my mom was never a fan that I'd be a football player or a soccer player. But I've done. I was quite into tennis at some point, and was swimming as well, and lots of other sports. But then eventually the sailing kind of took over when it was on weekends and competition. That basically cancelled out all the other sports at some point.
Yeah, amazing. You're gonna say something, BP, or did I talk on?
No, I was just sitting here thinking about Malta and thinking about what it must be like for you, Richard, when you go back to the continent and have to drive on the wrong side of the road, because in Malta you drive on the same side of the road as Great Britain and also the same side as the road as us here in UK. So did that shock you?
I mean, I grew up on that side of the road, but obviously it's a bit of a switch. But I've done my my driver's license on that side, and also sitting on the right hand side of the road in the car. Yeah. But at the beginning it was a bit of a change going from Europe mainland Europe back to Malta. Yeah. But now I think I got the hang of it. You just got to remember when the street is clear that you stay on the left when you're in Malta.
So from a sailing perspective, you've got this team, right? You and Fabian, fairly new team. Reasonably good results last year. So second, as I said, Princess Sophia, I think, in France. The French Olympic Regatta, second there, I'm pretty certain. So, and then you've just won Princess Sophia this year. So let's say, is that 100% improvement? Is that a 5% improvement? It's probably a heavier crowd now. Like there's a few more boats and sailors out, so it's a bit bigger. So how would you describe where you are in the 49er world at the moment?
Well, I would say the whole campaign, or the 4-year campaign, kind of started last year, kind of warming up. We managed to have 2 good events in Parma and in France with 2 second places, and then we had a bit of a break as also my Moss sailing came in between and at the summer. But then we did the World Championships in Sardinia in October, but we weren't able to put all the pieces together.
That was a 10th.
So then we had a 10th, correct? Yeah. And then we had a few things to work on over the winter, and then for now it's a good start into the season. We managed to put all the pieces together, especially in the final series. Mm-hmm. But there's still a long season ahead. We have a couple of events coming up, and now looking forward to it. I think it will be tricky, and I think the fleet is ramping up the competition, and I think everyone's quite close. It's good to see.
Yeah.
I've got a question to see if I can trigger BP here. You've got this amazing experience with the Moths and the Wasps and the Opties and 29ers, and now you're spending a lot of time in the 49ers. What would be one thing you'd like to change on the 49ers? Is there anything, or you enjoy them as they are?
I think the 49ers are the most exciting class to sail in the Olympic world, for sure. Mm-hmm. I haven't thought too much about it, but if you come from the Moth, you always look at every system or every functioning bit on the boat a little bit like a puzzle, and you see how can you improve this or that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's also sometimes nice to come to a boat and it's not too much
complicated.
Too complicated. You don't have to think too much. You just plug in and go for a sail and sail better than everyone else.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Good segue actually to the question I had. And in relation to that, where do you feel your strength lies? Because ultimately, you said the fleet is very close, which we know. Where do you feel like you're sort of got the ability to sort of get that nose in front? Because it's all about millimeters now.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because you have to basically put the regatta or the events into section or parts. Especially with the new format, it's a little bit of a different game. Let's say where now in Parma we experience you have to get into you have to finish the qualifying series, and then basically the points all get crushed together with minimal differences, but not as much as previously. And then in the final, it's about laying in consistent scores and low scores. And I think that's where we did in Parma quite well. Obviously, the conditions were quite tricky, and I think for everyone it was hard to put in low scores on the scoreboard. And I think for us it worked quite well, especially in the final days, and then in the two medal race format on the last day, and instead of one, it was mainly just keep an eye on your competition, but also sail your own race, because I mean it's all at the top mark. It's all a couple boat lengths, and it's a duck or a cross, and that can be difference between first or fifth. And
100%. Yeah. So you're saying consistency is something that you like to work on, and just keep yourself, I guess, balanced and focused, and not have to take too many wild corners.
Yeah. I guess it's always tricky putting in a consistent week across 6 days. It's always a little bit give or take, and always trying to minimize risk at some point, but also knowing when to put the hammer down and take some risk. But I think it's always a balance the sailors face or try to take on during a week of racing, and that will be the same with the next few events, especially at the World Championships.
Have you written a book, Jordan?
Well, maybe I'm just repeating what other people do. BP's having a go at me at the moment, Richard.
Jordan's a very good coach, and we know that from a lot of people's feedback, and sort of those comments are said quite regularly on this show with all of us. I mean, we all know that, but it's good to hear it from you, because it's it's a very nice balanced approach to what we feel is a very complicated sport. But if you do it right, you could actually simplify it to a point where you can gain results.
Yeah. Essentially, I would see it as off water. It's quite complex and complicated, but then when you get on the water, or when you get to racing, then it's about putting everything to the side and trying to keep it simple on the race course, or on, and then across the whole week. So I think that's the most difficult part in the 49er sailing.
So when I'll put the coach hat on for a bit. When you jumped into the class, first thing, I'm assuming, obviously you got to find that boat speed, right? So I'm pretty much be fairly standardised on 49ers now. Everyone would know what everyone else is doing. So did you have to look all that info up, or did Fabian bring it, or did the association presented it? Like, getting the boat to speed, was that difficult for you, or it was you already knew the numbers to plug in?
I mean, I've already sailed the 49er a couple of years already before Fabi, and Fabi also brings a lot of experience from his end, having several achievements already in this class, and then obviously a combination with our coach, who had also previously sailed the 49er for several years. And I think it's a bit of everything, and then you can only, I think, set up the boat to a certain extent, and then it's mainly about sailing the boat, moding the boat correctly, and then being in sync with your crew. I think that's a key bit in the 49er, but also a super difficult part to get it right. Because essentially you need to communicate it well, but at the same time, the moment you communicate it, it's already too late. So it's all about feeling and knowing what the other person is thinking, and then reacting before it's happening.
Yeah,
mainly anticipating each other.
Yeah, being proactive is a huge comment across the industry. Being proactive and not reactive, and that if you can be proactive, 99% of the time you're going to be that little bit in front.
So what do you think your strengths are? Like when you're sailing, whatever boat you're on, let's not isolate it to the 49, but what do you think is your real strength when you come into the sport?
Well, good question. But I think conditions-wise, I quite like unstable offshore conditions, where it's not so straightforward, not too much of a boat speed race, and it's more of a head out of boat and react.
Shifts, big shifts, and
love it.
Correct. Yeah. Big shifts and kind of piecing the puzzles together on the race course, and then not coming away with too high of a score, and then doing that across 4 races. I typically like those conditions because one is not so easy, but at the same time, I think good sailors should be able to piece a couple of shifts together, even if they're hard to see or not too obvious to see. I think that's quite exciting on the race course, and probably also not good to watch as well for TV.
Yes, absolutely it is. And it's something that we keep an eye on, obviously now watching from the sidelines. But who in Palmer was sort of that guy that was always just there, or always just in front of you, or always just, and you sort of knew you had to keep an eye on? So who do you think that was?
Say again, what was the question?
Who on the race course was your main sort of competitor? Who was always next to you? Who was always doing the same thing as you?
I think it's a whole variety of boats, because one race there would be 1 or 2 boats good up front, and then the next race they'd be out the back. And then it's about for the boat in the back to try and minimize the loss and get still a decent score on board. But obviously at Palmer, the Nevin and Ian, the American team, sailed quite a good series up until the last day, where we were pretty close on points. I think they laid down a good performance in this condition. I think everything plays a part. Obviously, they had good boat speed and sailed well around the course, but also they picked some good shifts, which was quite important in this last regatta, for sure.
I find it interesting.
The consistency comes in there, doesn't it, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There was some up there. There was some back there. There was a couple. It was just different every day, but I was just always in the same spot.
Consistency is everything. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's how you want your scorecard. No bad results. That's it, Richard. No bad numbers. That's the rule. I'm intrigued from the development perspective, because one of the great things about talking to you is, you're still quite young. Like you're in that amazing pace where you're probably physically you're in the perfect, you've got another 10 years of perfection where you're going to be full bore, but the brain and the development and the knowledge is just going to keep coming and coming and coming, and so you're just going to get better and better and better. Like there's that dual development phase where your skills or your knowledge grows, but your physical stuff is still going strong, and then eventually, as we all do in sailing, our physical bodies start to tail away, but we've still got the brain, and so you can still sail quite well. I'm intrigued from the perspective you did Opties and 29ers, and you're a helms person, right? So you've been helming the whole time. Do you remember the first time you went out in the wire and had to helm?
I remember, it was on the FX with one of my sisters.
Yeah.
She was already into the FX sailing a little bit, and then she took me for a sail in Malta. I was a little bit used to the trapeze a little bit, as when I was a few years old already, just on a boat from my parents, just a cruiser. There was already a trapeze, so I knew how to stand on a trapeze basically. But the whole unstable platform 49er and holding the tiller as well, and that was definitely a new aspect to learn. But I think I quite liked the challenge, and it was a very nice learning curve.
I can tell you, I can remember my first day on a 49er. I think everyone can.
Yeah. I remember at a Worlds, seeing Pete Burling, like when he was at the peak, step off the back of the 49er, miss and fall out the back, and Blair just swapping straight onto the helm, and the boat didn't capsize. So they clearly had a few times where Pete's gone off the back, and I'm assuming you've made that mistake as well, because it's an easy thing to do.
Yeah, no, it's definitely happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
Actually happened to us in Palma, one of the final days as well. Not stepping off the back, but losing the tiller and ending up in the water.
Yeah.
But then it's about just keeping your cool and just kind of get back to work and pick up a few boats again that you may have lost. But it can happen with these boats. They're quite difficult to sail and turn corners. So I think we do a lot of practice to try to minimize this, but then also not to lose too much when it does happen.
You say they're difficult to turn corners, but if you watch the 49ers at a top mark, it's perfection. The level of sailing on a 49er these days is just insanely good. So, I'm guessing the amount of training you do is fairly phenomenal. And where are you training? If you're living in Malta and I guess Fabian's in Germany somewhere, so where are you training mostly?
It's a bit of a mix. Obviously, in the winter periods, we can't really race in Northern Europe too much. So then we have several blocks in some warmer climates. And in this winter, it was mainly on Lanzarote with some good conditions. Oh, wow. And then basically we had our training camps there. And then in the summer, we either have our training camps up north at the German base in Kiel. So then I would travel up, or it would be mainly prior to events wherever we are in mainly Europe for now. But then I think in the next few years, it will be also a little bit of travel outside of Europe.
Mm. Yeah.
Have you ever been to Oz?
I've been to Australia once for WASP games in Perth on the west coast.
Beautiful.
It was a very cool experience.
Yeah.
Some nice conditions, and actually thinking about coming back for this year's Moth World Championships in November, but not sure yet.
Oh, very cool.
Sailing in West Oz is as good as it gets. It really is. It's just absolutely. Where was that one? I forgot those. Was that at Royal Perth? It was on the river, was it? I'm trying to remember that one.
Yeah. Inside the river, yeah.
Yeah. Melville waters. It's great sailing, but even perfect. I'm guessing you went down the beach as well. Had a bit of time off and wandered down the beach in Perth.
Yeah. No, it's a cool city as well. I think outside of Perth it's not too much, but I didn't go out that end. Mainly stayed in the city, and we were there to sail, so I did lots of time on the water, and but no, it was a cool experience.
There's a plenty of Euros tucked up in Geraldton up there, windsurfing their little brains out. So there's plenty of Euros having a good time in Western Australia. It's one of the joys of your gig, isn't it? When this whole adventure, traveling around the world, campaigning for Olympics and stuff like that, as you say, it's the same people at every yacht club, and you all pack up. You all know where you're going to the next event. You get to make lifelong friends, and this is what's going to set you up for life.
Yeah, no, we're quite lucky to be able to travel so much and experience essentially a luxury lifestyle of being able to travel and meet different people from different cultures and countries. And then you can always come back to down the line and 10, 20, 30 years of still meeting the same people. And I think we're living quite a nice lifestyle of being able to travel and experience these different cultures and climates and people. It's very cool.
I think just by your attitude towards it, your parents have done a great job with making sure you are level-headed about it, because it's a privilege. It doesn't matter what you do from here on in. You've met the people that there's people around that will change your life, and but sailing gives you career opportunities, and the careers these days. God, so different to what they were 20 years ago. The opportunities are there to go and do some really cool, pro events. So it's exciting times for you.
No, I think especially in the Olympic campaign, the sport is one of it, which is a lot of learning to do. But on the other side, there's a lot of different skills that we have to master as well as a team, such as if it's campaign planning or management or finances or logistics and so on. I think we get to learn a whole variety of skills and different aspects of it, which I think, and especially the mental side of the sailing, which obviously we can only sail to a certain point, but all the mental training we do will be with us for the rest of our life. So I think that's something to take on.
Absolutely.
I'm intrigued, but when you moved to Malta as a 5-year-old, obviously German's the language you spoke at home. What is your German still? Did you move away from German once living in Malta? Like, because at school you would have been whatever the other kids were speaking, sort of thing. So I'm just intrigued because, famously, the accent in Germany can be quite different at different parts of Germany. So I'm wondering how strong your German is coming back in all the time.
Yeah, it was mainly we spoke English in school, and mainly in Malta you speak English and Maltese. But then we try to speak German still when we're at home, so we don't lose it. And then we basically talk German within the family. And now that was a little bit of a different aspect. When I moved to Germany, I learned to sail in English and in Malta. So now sailing in the German language is a little bit different, but I think it wasn't too big of a challenge. So we still speak German at home, but then the sailing world and when we're on tour in English.
It's quite a topic close to my heart. I have 2 Spanish daughters, and while we were living in Spain, it was TV and stuff like that was all in English. Now that we're living in Australia, everything's in Spanish.
Yeah, keep the Spanish going. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at your perfect world, right? You're 21. You've got plenty of life in front of you. What other boats do you look at longingly? You're going to do this Olympic campaign. You're going to smash it, everything, and then you're going to start sailing other boats at some stage. What boats do you look at now and go, oh, yeah, wouldn't mind having a go on those?
I think first, what I already got into is the Moss class, which I quite enjoy. Mainly, obviously, the sailing part. You learn a lot about the class, and you learn a lot about trying to improve your boat and your sailing and so on. There's a kind of a small campaign you do every now and then, which I quite enjoy. And it keeps you on the water, it keeps you fresh, and you sail fast boats and you keep your decision making fast. But on the other hand, obviously you look at big leagues such as the America's Cup or the SailGP, which is, I guess, most sailors are working towards if they want to continue sailing. And I've already had the opportunity to be at some events in the past, and with the German team at the last event last year. And they're definitely interesting boats to sail. I would say a Moss that is on steroids and a little bit bigger and faster. It's definitely something we're looking at.
So you're in your prime position for this that next step, and I guess though it's important to not get brainwashed by it and keep focused on what you're doing. But everyone in this sailing world who doesn't have the opportunity to get on a SailGP boat or an America's Cup boat will just wonder what it's like. So it must be a pretty cool position to be in.
Yeah, no, it's mainly basically trying to piece all the little learnings from each class, and then trying to, if it is taking learnings from the Moss into my Olympic campaign or from other classes, I think there's always bits and pieces where we can improve on.
So have you sailed on the SailGP boat? Is that what you're saying? Like they took you out for a sail?
Yeah. I was lucky enough to go for a couple of minutes of sail on several of the days.
Yeah, a couple of minutes.
On the future,
that's a huge distance.
Yeah. On a few training they have in a year. I was lucky enough to go for a spin. It's quite a beast to tame.
So were you like with Seb on board when and you were going into the helming role, or you were just sitting sort of more of an observation role? How did that play out?
I did one day of just feeling the boat in some light airs as a grinder, and then just to feel the boat. And then another day I was able to go out in a strategist role and then steer out of some maneuvers or through some maneuvers. Not too long, as they're also quite tight on time, but it was a cool experience.
Had the opportunity. That's awesome.
There's no spare time for training for the old SailGP. They're hoping to expand that, but and I guess you got some sim time. Did you have a go on the sim?
Yeah. I guess the sim is a piece of gem for the sailors at the moment.
Yeah.
Or mainly for the sailors that are not every weekend or every trying to gather some hours of the feeling the boat. even though I think it's still a work in progress, the sim, which I think they're improving on, to make it more feel like a boat, but it's definitely a good piece of tool to have.
Just between you and me, BP, it's always got sailors on it. Like at Sail GP, there's always people training on it, and the very rare times it's not training on it, they switch it off so you can't play with it. But I've worked out how to turn it on just between you and me.
Well, there we go. So we've got the inside information how to turn it on and go in there after dark.
Yeah.
Well, that's for our bar karate sailing team, Jordan.
That's right.
You know, when we enter the Sail GP in a couple of seasons' time,
That's it. Yeah.
They'll go, how the hell have they gotten bloody good at this?
Yeah. So, for the rest of the year, mate, what's the plan? So it's full on 49er for the next 3 years. Is that how we're looking at it? 2 years.
Obviously, this is the main focus for the next few years. But I also can't stay off the water too long. If I have 5 days off, then I'm already itching to get back on the water. So I'm always looking at ways to get back on the water. If that's a moth, where I can just jump on a boat and go for a sail on my own, or trying to jump on some other boats to keep sailing and keep learning and trying to gather some new ideas for the 49er.
Very cool. Very cool.
Love the answers. I love the answers. Just very level-headed.
All right, mate. Yeah, you're an impressive bloke. So we wish you well. You know, like I can't help but thinking you're going to do pretty well. So yeah, I really appreciate you coming on the show to chat to us. But keep smashing it, and we'll be cheering for you.
No, thank you. I think it's still a long way to go. Lots of pieces to put together. But I think we have an exciting journey ahead.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Congratulations with your win in Palma, and keep that consistency going. All right, have a good time.
Oh, one thing I do want to ask.
Much.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, one thing. If people want to follow you, mate, and they want to track your performance, like how can people keep following you? What's the best way?
I guess on the 49er side, there's lots of broadcasting being done in the next few years.
Yeah.
Yep.
But also, if you want to follow a little bit of insights, you can follow my Instagram. It's just Flying Boat on Instagram.
Cool. All right.
Flying Boat. Okay.
All right, Ledge.
Well, there you go. Fans, get onto it and follow Richard, and I'm sure he'd love to hear from you.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much.
Well, as I said, boys, at the start, he is the future. Like amazing talent, incredible way to grow up and spend life. I guess if you're in Malta, there's not much else to do. Like you just splash around on the water. So, but I think he's someone we're going to have to keep our eye on. Bright future. Just one of those people that's destined for it. So, good luck.
Beautiful part of the world too to do all this stuff. I mean, Malta.
Yeah, love it. I guess from his perspective, though, if with all the effort that he's putting in, with all the training and the effort, he's probably focused on the endurance and high performance part of his lifestyle. So he's looking for that vitality applied under pressure, and that higher demand requires higher standards, and he can get that from Radix Nutrition. So we would suggest if Richard, or even yourselves, were looking to achieve the maximum out of their sport, jump onto Radix Nutrition, use Bar Karate as the discount code, get a discount on us. What do you think, fellas? Is that a reasonable approach?
Oh, just the training, the travel, just anything, getting you primed, ready to go.
Yeah. And go on, BP. Sorry, bud.
Oh no, just 100%. I mean, it's a big part of should be a big part of everyone's preparation and set up for regattas. It's mine coming up for my stuff, so I'm doing it. So get on board.
I'll tell you an interesting thing, BP. Bossy and I had a bit of a lesson about AI this week. We learned quite a bit about AI stuff and the power of things you can do. And I was just thinking that reminded me of our relationship with disruptormarinemarketing.com.au. Using that, if you're worried about falling behind with Google or ChatGPT and all the new AI changes, Disruptor are the guys to help you out with that. Bicey, the Buy Spot. We've discovered that we've actually been working on, and this is the secret, BP, we recorded Bicey's voice, and now we're going to have a Buy Spot. We don't need Bice anymore. We've just put these standard jokes into the AI, and we're good to go. Cool. But you can also use the Buy Spot as your AI receptionist 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Never miss another call. Instant referral system, double your referral leads within 60 days is what they say, or you don't pay. Just jump on to disruptormarinemarketing.com.au, get a 30-minute demo and see what leads you're currently missing. Worth your time.
just a Buy Spot.
With the Buy Spot, it'll get you out of the office, put it that way.
What do you bloody want? Oi, what do you want?
I know. Very, very complimentary. You should have seen some of the recordings I had to do.
I'm busy.
Straight to the HR office. You've done it again.
Whoops. Oh, dear. It's fun. All right, let's just... Well, I don't think everyone's perfectly healthy. I'm not sure everyone's picking up on that, but anyway.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Events coming up. There's a lot going on. I think Bicey's got a whole list as well, but I'll just highlight a couple that focused on. So 4th to 11th of July is the Contender Worlds in Meddelblik in the Netherlands. So that's a good one. And then followed up by the Worlds in Adelaide at Brighton and Seacliff Yacht Club. That'll be coming up in 2027. But
yes.
This year's Worlds in the Netherlands. So that's a great place to go. We've got some good friends based there. That's 4 to 11 July. 9 to 10 May, Sail GP Bermuda after Rio, and some of the great events we've seen so far this year. Looking forward to that. There's some controversy out of Rio. We'll touch on that as well. And then BP, you've got an event everyone should be thinking about. You're just about to head to the US, aren't you, mate?
California Race Week coming up, so that's going to be fun. I've been talking myself into doing a bit of a sort of a YouTubey thing, so that might be a bit of fun. We'll see how that goes. But you know,
what do you mean? Making some videos.
There's two things: is talking about it and actually doing it. So we'll see how we go.
It's the editing.
Trust me. Is this next to the book?
Yeah, no, the book's nearly done.
Oh, fantastic!
Got my first talk at the Des Moines Sailing Club, June 13th, I think, something like June.
Isn't that every Friday night?
No, this is going to be really rare. This is Thursday night.
So for those that don't want to pay, you can just head down Friday night.
The book's good.
Talk to Tom Stushbury. He's doing all that work with his putting videos together. He'd have all the tricks. He'll tell you what it's like.
Anyway, California Race Week followed very closely by the Pac Cup. So we've got next couple of months fairly busy actually.
Yeah, good. Yeah, everyone's got that. Well, yeah, there's plenty of travel. I'm not sure how Barker is going to survive the next few months. Anyway.
Now, time capsule. I've just brought a new capsule for us.
Oh, yeah?
It was going pretty cheap. Yeah. It's a little bit burnt and full of seawater. But that's how we're going to get around to make it all happen.
We're going to have to do something. We need to get AI for all three of us, I think. Let's move on. Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week, boys, in memory of our old mate Jackie Lloyd. We listen to hear from our listeners, see what they've got to say, and there's usually some pretty good stuff in there. And because of that, every month, our friends at Vycobi provide a couple of $100 worth of gear. They're very strong in the technical gear. So if you're into your sailing, which I assume you are because you're listening to Bar Karate and you want to try out some cool gear, just jump onto Vycobi's website and have a bit of a look.
Please email us because we do get some crackers.
Yeah.
And can I just reiterate that last week the winner, Dave Well, it wasn't a stitch up and a setup.
No,
it was a true blue random.
I had no idea he was there, and I was determined he was going to win.
I knew he was coming, but I didn't know he was going to win. But anyway, he was extremely grateful, and it's turned out that
I haven't done the email. I've got to do the follow-up email. I'll do that straight after this. But no, that was cool, wasn't it? And then
sitting on the balcony.
So they've got these cool bump hats at the moment, BP. I don't know if you've seen those.
No, I've seen them.
Yeah. I think that. So if you like racing,
I think, Bicey, you should get one and drive around the Land Rover with it on.
It doesn't matter when you haven't got a roof.
Well, that's the
Sometimes.
idea.
Actually, it probably does.
Yeah.
A bit of sun protection and sort of it's got two jobs. Sun protection.
Maybe if I run into a bird or a bird attacks from behind. Oh, in magpie season.
Yeah.
That's a bloody good idea.
You could get some those little sail tie. What do you call them? Zip ties.
The cable ties.
So drive around in Land Rover with that on.
Folks, if you're worried about, your kids banging their heads on the boom and stuff like that, the bump, that's what a bump hat is. It's basically looks like you're wearing a cap or a sun hat, and it's also got a bit of helmet protection in there. So they're very, very clever and pretty comfortable. And they're the best. They're the best version.
I did look closely at them last week.
Eh?
I looked closely at them last week. They're really cool.
All right, so this week we hear from one of our regulars. We've got a couple of regulars joining. Two of our favourites, actually. Stringers has come in. Stringer's an old mate of mine. He's gone, where's Bicey? I reckon I know. Due to the global fuel crisis, and in particular here in Australia, Bicey is off doing a very long overdue electric vehicle conversion on his trusty Land Rover Defender to make it fully electric. Go on.
He's just put a what do they call it? The bloody sun thing on his head. That's all he's doing, is driving around with a solar panel.
Got a solar.
Stringers did say nice work on getting my niece Zoe Dransfield on the show for a chat. She's been having great success this season in the
6 degrees of separation, Buck, right?
Yeah. So well done and for sharing her story. I didn't know, Stringers. Didn't know she was your niece. I can see it now. Our mate Anton.
Oh, has he got long blonde hair?
Stringers is sort of he's got the blonde hair. He's an interesting dude. I like him a lot. He's a good guy. He's just always happy. Anton Prung, who came in about the discussion. Remember, he came in talking about the handicap stuff with Brett Whitbread's episode. Do you guys remember Anton's email? He wrote in. Hi, Jordan and Brett, and sometimes Nick. You picking up a theme here yet, boss? I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Following on from the discussion about handicaps, we ran a trial run with the DPR handicap at the Brisbane to Gladstone with Ignition, the Sunfast 3300. It was seen that I've inadvertently developed an equivalent, if not better, polar and target speed calculator than a B&G 5000 for 95% less cost. Throughout the race, we have a history of RPR, Real Performance Index, relative to our previous polars, as well as new polars that were created on the fly. The next step is to roll out the platform to half a dozen boats and have a proper race. Separately to finding better and fairer handicap solution for mixed fleets, I'm also the main organiser and promoter for Brisbane Race Week, which is now in its 4th year. We have some unique racing formats. So first off, before I go on to that handicap system, so Anton, if you go back and listen, we discussed it after I think it was the episode after Brett's, where we talked about this whole solution where you could write an algorithm around that, and he'd come up with. We talked about what you could do, and he came up with some ideas. Okay, so it looks like he's testing it in racing, and he reckons it's working. So that's a good thing. So we'll follow up with that. All right, are you guys happy with that discussion?
Oh, absolutely stoked.
Here.
Brisbane Race Week. Some of the unique racing formats. Now, you both know I'm a massive fan of this sort of stuff where we throw lots of different things in. So in the racing, they're going to have the hot lap. The first day starts with an F1 style qualifier. Boats can start at any time and need to record one or more lap around Green Island over a 3-hour window. So qualification, like in the Formula One. Boats can travel in either direction, providing some interesting boat-on-boat action. The fastest boat on elapsed and corrected time are the daily winners. That one's cool.
Awesome.
I love it.
Love it.
The grand finale pursuit race. The PHS handicaps from Friday, Saturday and Sunday and Monday races are fed into a supercomputer, producing a set of handicap start times for the ultimate WAGS style race. First past the post is the winner. So basically a handicap start with a countdown. I love it.
I didn't know you were sending your head down there, Jordan.
Yeah.
The supercomputer.
It's not my. Yes, thank you. No, the daily passion Pop Award. Forget the Rolex. The most highly coveted trophy of the week is the lightly chilled bottle of Passion Pop, awarded daily to the crew who executes either the absolute best or the absolute worst kite hoist of the day. The onshore program includes parties with a Brazilian carnival, Saturday legends on the lawn, Sunday Texan grill, and we could love if you could give the race week a shout out. Well, we've just done, so you should be pretty happy. Or better yet, get a crew together and come up to Sale in May. So there's an invite. I will likely be overseas nearly all of May, so you might have to count me out. But that's a good email, boys. Good promotion.
Yeah, bravo, Anton. Love it.
Thinking of things and then a bit of cross promotion. So that's definitely a good one. I like what the effort they're putting into that regatta. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I like it. So
I love the fact, just not afraid to mix it up a bit. Just get away from the norm.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go down, do 2 win and do it. Seriously?
Right.
Yeah. Good.
I 100% agree. I think the more we throw fun
sounds like a fun week, doesn't it?
It does. It sounds awesome. And it's in
the
Queensland.
Only thing, well, the hot lap, because it is around the island, the only thing they're missing is the J-Dog Pursuit race.
Well, that's right. I reckon there's definitely a day. They could add a day for that.
Yeah.
The knockout format.
Actually, I think in a week or two, there is actually
with the Barkarati barge.
That barge. It's got to get that from Tassie. There is a marathon around Green Island next weekend, I think, for those with dinghy. It's a dinghy and catamarans and trailers, everything. Run what you've brung. That's coming up. Johnny Harrison. G'day, boys. Just spent a few days at the annual CHS regatta at Belmont 16s. For those who aren't familiar, it's an annual regatta for all the high school age kids, and they usually show up in a wide array of boats, typically ones oversized for them. This year, no exception, with a handful of Hobie 18, 16 skiffs and plenty of 13 skiffs. Amongst others, noticeably, there was a rainbow in attendance, which made me laugh and think of the show.
You're welcome, Rainbow class.
On a serious note, it's great to see the future of our sport in good hands, with nearly 200 young sailors enjoying being on the water in a fun environment. Given it's handicap racing, no one takes the results too seriously. It's all about making friends and sailing boats. When the wind dies, most of the kids can be found tow-foiling behind ribs or playing virtual skipper inside the skiff trailer. A great regatta and a fantastic future for our sport. Well done, Johnny. Appreciate that one.
Oh, that's a good one, Johnny. I like this line.
Yes, so do I.
On a serious note, it's great to see the future of our sport in good hands.
Yep.
With 200 young sailors. That is that actually not a perception, but that actually happening is
I thought you were going to say his closing line, parent who wishes he was 16 again.
Well, I was going to mention the rainbow, but
I love it.
I tell you what, I mean, more of those sort of events, that would make you realise you wish you were 16 again. Because if they can do that and get that adventure side of it going again,
wow,
we're all good. We're in good shape.
We're coming back to that little topic, I think, BP. I'm going to drive it that way a little bit. Last one is from a guy called Mark Disney. May or may not heard of him.
Haven't heard from him for a while. Haven't spoken to him. We need to touch base with him.
Well, he wrote, I believe in you guys. I really do. So for the next UK trial census in spring 2027, I am going to register my religion as Karatian, Bar Karatian. 8,000 more faithfuls like me, and we get officially registered on the system. Send it. That is funny.
That is Mark Disney personified. He's an absolute trooper and loyal supporter, obviously, of the show. But he's a crack up. He's a laugh, and that's a good one.
Karatian, Bar Karatian.
Because they had all the Jedi, that's the thing in the census, and it's almost there now. I think they got like 4 or 5% of people register as a Jedi, on the Australian census. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but maybe that would be pretty funny. That would be. I'm doing it. I
actually got some survey through the mail the other day. Just some Bureau of Statistics, not the census, but I might register myself as a Karatian, Bar Karatian for that matter.
Good on you. Some great contributions. That's the start of the month. We've got another few weeks to go. So if you want to win the Vycobi gear, start sending them in to us at cheers@barkarati.com.
It's hot time with Bice.
Right, good. What the people can't see, we cannot hear the music for whatever reason. So all I've got is Jordan in the background singing "Hot Time with Bice." And then, here we go. All right, ready to roll, boys. I guess closest to, the most recently announced, just a quick one to touch on. There's a bit of boat movement going on. There's some activity happening back up in the Brittany region. The Argo team been announced this week that they'll be building a boat, which is, from what I understand, the platform will fit within the All Team rule, but no restrictions anywhere else. Going to be fully crewed, breaking records around the world.
Jesus.
Game change. So All Team on steroids.
On steroids. They couldn't get much more than they are, could they?
Well,
exactly.
That's how we roll in sailing with technology. There is no limit.
Wow.
But just take this for a little bit. That world, like these boats, they're not going to be cheap to build, right?
No.
No.
Right? We've just seen the Gitana launched and about to start doing all their things. And you look at it and you're like, holy shit, that is one hell of a chunk of a boat. And then another one being built. Rumours of others being, that basically it's thriving, that little corner of the world as far as race boats being built. Not only those sorts of boats, but IMOCAs and everything else. It's just a little enclave over there, isn't it?
It's a hub.
It's amazing.
So that the guy behind Argo who owns it, I think it's Jason Carroll, isn't it? American.
Jason Carroll, correct. Yeah.
So he's got the Mod 70, which is zooming around the world. But I looked at his cruising boat is a gunboat 80.
Gunboat 80, exactly.
He likes big, fast cats, doesn't he? How's that for a cruising boat? Anyway, so he's going the old team. Jeez, he must like going fast.
So we'll keep a close eye on everything happening in Francais. The other news was Comanche.
Oh.
She's rumoured. I guess, is it rumoured? It's been in kind of mainstream
confirmed.
media. But Anthony Bell chartering the boat and will be for the next 4 years is what I saw. Don't know. Who knows? Charter owns. Don't know. But,
well, it made a little sail, a little jaunt across to New Zealand for the for some sort of paperwork deal. So that I think it's either back or heading back now. So
I saw it's back.
So
she's wonder if it's going to be venturing out of Aussie waters. But
Gee, there's a bit happening on the.
When was that boat built? 2015, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Like she's not exactly the newest.
It's like line up, have a go. You know what I mean? It's okay, my turn.
It's our turn next. It's going to be in 4 years. Barkarati are chartering that thing. I guarantee it.
I've heard.
Guaranteed.
We'll take it.
It's not the newest piece of fruit in the fruit bowl, but nothing comes close to it.
Maybe
not at the moment.
Maybe it could be where we put the money from the Ginga Challenge.
Oh well, that's what I was thinking.
But anyway,
all you redheads, when you go for a haircut, just tap on the way out.
Extra $2. Extra $2 for the donation.
Yeah,
and save the money on crumpets. Just put it into the Ginga Challenge.
Yeah. Ginga Challenge it is. Speaking of Ginga Challenge, the greatest Ginga analysis of all time, Jordan Spencer, give us a rundown. Sail GP Rio.
Jeez.
All sorts going on. A win to the Aussie. But give us your little postcard type
take on it.
Take on it.
Well, no, what do you guys think? I'm more interested in what you guys think. It was an absolute rip snorter event. Like I've got to say though, if you're a fan of the Aussies, you'd have been pretty bloody happy. Their day two performance is exceptional, but there was a few teams like we have to big ups to Artemis. Outridge and his team have got that thing right to the front of the fleet in record time. Very little development. big disappointment for the Poms. I'm not sure what happened for those guys. Like
they could have a start line that all the boats could fit on.
That was amazing, wasn't it? Like I was watching that, and the first thing that I thought of is that was like they've got carried away. You know, like in the old days, girls used to have bikini bottoms that would cover their bums, and the Brazilians always had those little G-string style thing. It was like a Brazilian
start line.
Start line. That's what I thought when I saw it. I thought, oh, they've gone the Brazilian G-string sort of thing with that start line.
And that's just an amazing analogy, isn't it, Bryce? That's what we love about our Jordan Spencer. The way he can relate to a start line to a Brazilian G-string.
Mate, if this isn't sent to the mayor of Rio right now.
But it was such a constricted little start line. And then
you're sort of saying like a funnel, like a little funnel.
It's a little funnel, yeah, funnel to the pleasure zone. It was out into the race course.
Jesus.
Don't we have pleasure when we're out racing our sailing boats? It was just wonderful, and there was some great takeoffs and made it tight, and they did an amazing job.
Now, leave it there. Made it tight.
No, you shouldn't see where my brain was going. I had to censor myself then. I didn't go anywhere near it.
Don't worry. Our brains aren't censored and we're seeing it.
Yeah. So anyway, there was... the
first leg is now called the pleasure zone.
Oh, the reaching mark.
That first reaching leg is the pleasure zone. That's it. Yeah,
let's first to the pleasure zone. Oh, yes. First to the pleasure zone. It guarantees you a good position on the racetrack.
Anyway, thanks to Brazil Rio for providing all that.
In the lee of Bum Cove.
Anyway,
it brings a whole new meaning to the bottom mark, doesn't it?
I thought the interesting thing was that how well some of the boats were handling it. So the conditions were really light because they had the large rig on. They had full large fours and everything day one. And a bit of swell. You could see that there was a little bit of swell there and that was playing out. And then they swapped to I think they had the smaller rudder fours on the second day, which made the boat a little more difficult to fly. And with the swell, I have to wonder, with the changes, like that domination by the Aussie team was pretty full bore. They changed their starting. That was one thing. They started to go, they'd been going consistently one style of starting for a long, long, long time. And they suddenly just said, Tom said, we got to do something different. And they did something different. It paid out. But then I got to say, Jason Waterhouse flying the boat, I think he was in his element. It was a little difficult for the flight controllers. And obviously Jace is right at the very, very, very top. And when things change, Jace is quickest to respond is my theory. Like he seems to have that, he has that innate ability that everyone can catch up to him and then something changes and he's got a little advantage again. But I also have to wonder if that friendship between Goobs and Tom is good as well. Those guys are really tight. They're probably best mates. And so whether that worked, but basically, like I was watching Big Sammy working on the pumps, like it was a pretty impressive performance right through the race. There was that controversy when the Aussies got picked up that penalty coming into the finish. I think that was the first day, wasn't it? Jeez, that was crazy.
That was a hard one to watch, regardless of who you support. Like a controlled rounding behind a boat, and then you get pinged. But I guess at the end of the day, you've got the zones, right? You can't get within the zone and of the other boat.
It's the way the rules are written, like there was no impact, but the way the rules are written, there's nothing that the umpire could do. I think Stevie Morrison's call where he said, best we don't cross to the Aussie boat to listen on board was probably 100% right. I tell you, that was just that was a ridiculous call, but I don't think anyone could have done anything different. The other interesting thing was that little story I shared during the week, which was the remote control marks coming back through the anchored boats.
Oh, yeah.
That was carnage. That
carnage,
was
just boom.
Yeah. Anyway,
We made a little joke about that when we were out watching them in Australia, because we sort of kept that anchor and just sat there and enjoyed the surroundings on the Sydney Harbour as they were coming past, and it was sort of likened to a bunch of minions all running home after work.
Yeah. Like it is. You know, when they get them in line, they used to send them in a one single file line, and it looked like the Seven Dwarfs, you know, from Snow White. Hi ho, hi ho. I always sing that when I see them. Hi ho, hi ho. Anyway, but yeah, they're
happy little buggers, aren't they?
Yeah, they just happily do their job. Occasionally hit boats.
You bounce off them.
Incoming.
Yeah. Anyway,
they should get them up in the Straits of Hormuz. Actually, they're doing a good job. So.
I'm not saying a word. Anyway, so rare. It was a cracker. So, as I said before, 9 to 10 May, we went to Bermuda, which is absolutely beautiful.
Sorry.
Absolutely beautiful part of the world. So, we'll see if the Bermudans...
Running into a mine.
Hey? Yeah.
The little fella running into a mine.
Yeah.
Oh. Rolex flags everywhere. God.
Bits of rubber, bits of set mark all over the place.
What else you got, boss?
Oh, well, I was going to just kind of, before I give a bit of a rundown on the busiest 6 weeks in yachting ever,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to get a bit of where we're at Port Stephens, BP. You're there. Well, you got the last star, the Commodores Cup, as you mentioned on the intro earlier.
As time of recording, yep, Commodores Cup been a fantastic. I got to say, it's been my first real regatta, if you like, or travelling regatta in Australia for quite a while, and you know, because of work and all the things that I've been up to. But you come back and you get out there and you arrive, you go sailing, you come in at the end of the day, and you go up to the watering hole, and it's just familiar faces, left, right, and centre, and it's so good. And there's a bunch of new people, obviously, but it's so good to see all the old faces all still enjoying it. Now, that's one of my favourite parts of these types of regattas. As we lead into our winter north, north heading regattas, and so Port Stephens. First week, Commodores Cup. Recording.
Absolutely cracking place.
Finishes
any standout performances that kind of grabbed your eye?
I mean, you know, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. Had a win yesterday in Super 40, so but no.
Pat yourself on the back.
Well, you know, not myself, ourselves. But no, the fleet is really hot. I mean, there's some great boats here. I mean, we're talking all the 40s.
You can't hear the audio at all, can you, BP?
And you know I'm not listening. No. And so basically moving forward, the regatta has been raced to...
basically Pierce Excellence. Did you play that one?
Yes.
Yep. I don't know what I'd do on the boat, but I seem to add something.
Don't know what you did back there.
I was trying to find that one, and he said how well they've gone. I'll just take that one. Oh, dear.
No, but the racing, you know, with this Commodores Cup, it's racing out around the islands, out off the, you know, Cabbage Tree Island and Little Island and all these little
beautiful.
Islands. You can't help but stop and just go, no, I'm just going to have a look around for a while.
Yeah.
It is smell the roses. Smell the roses, as they say.
Oh, smell the roses.
But they're the wrong way if you can smell roses.
Anyone put her up on the putty at all?
There's been a few putties, including us.
Really?
We were DNF in the second race because we had to turn on the engine and we couldn't lie, so we turned the engine on to get off. And there's a few funny stories there, but we won't go into that because that's been kept in house.
It's like sands through the hourglass, those sandbars, isn't it? Just moving.
Well, we were a long way from where it was supposed to be. I can tell you that much. But hey, there's been some notable groundings. So including Anarchy was here. Anarchy is here, the boat, and it's got local people on board saying how they won the first race and that the local knowledge of the sandbars has really helped them out, and they had a good day. And the next day they're on the sand.
Yeah, I was going to say
that was a bit of personal soundings.
Yes, that was a bit of
it's so unlike a sandy bottom to change shape, isn't it?
No,
sandbars don't move at all. No, far out.
So all good,
especially
and obviously
in a Brazilian bikini.
Obviously, for international listeners, Port Stephens, it's about it's about 3-hour drive north of Sydney. But if you ever want to come to an area that is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, this is it. And for the week here that we've been here, turned it on. And live music every day. Closed off the street for street parties.
Yeah.
There's just food and it's just a fantastic place.
It is
glorious.
Love
I like it.
Don't tell anyone.
There's plenty more. Next couple of weeks, obviously, it is a festival of sailing.
It's Port Stevens. Yeah,
it goes for about 3 months
weeks.
almost.
It goes about a year.
I reckon it never stops.
Well, probably doesn't.
When are there'll be dinghies there. They'll be doing all sorts.
It's all over the next 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it never stops. Everyone's there.
It's huge.
And I mean, if for an overseas listener, if you say you're a dinghy person, like you can literally rent a house where you go down the grass, a little sandy beach, and then you're in the water. You don't, you can just literally just push out and go sailing. It's crazy. It's so perfect.
Yeah.
And it's warm, lovely.
Warm.
Sunny.
All right, gents.
What do you got?
Prepared. I'm not sure if you're going to hear from me for a while, but take this in, will you? For the next, this is what the sail program looks like.
He's pre-warning us that he's not going to be around.
You got to make
No, I'll be around. But listen to this. For the next 6 weeks of regattas, quite European-centric, with a few thrown in there. And for obviously other listeners with other regattas, not taking anything away from them at all. But Palma Vela kicks off within the next week or so, out of Palma, of course, which rolls straight into the TP Super Series in Portaos. ORC Worlds in Sorrento.
That's
rolling straight after that is the IMA Maxi Europeans in Sorrento. So the home of the America's Cup. Let's not forget, in those waters. IRC Europeans in Poole, in the UK. Then the newly formed Sardinia Cup, which I was just checking out the other day, actually. 10 or 11 quite very well-established teams going to be competing in that. Kind of same rules as we remember as the Admiral's Cup.
Yeah.
Then it's the Duralia race week and long race. GL52's Big Red Regatta, the Cyclades Cup Super Yachts, and then the TP Super Series again in Porto-Cervo.
You forgot
all
one.
From the 1st of May till mid-June.
You forgot one.
Jordan Spencer for shoot race?
No, there's a thing called the America's Cup, and the first event in the America's Cup of the build-up for 38 is May 21 to 24 in Sardinia, Cagliari.
Well, my mistake. My mistake. There you go.
Yeah,
nothing gets
no mistake.
past
I'm
Jordan.
just telling you that it was
Nothing gets past the Jordan.
Put that on my list. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you probably will. And there's a chance it may be destroyed, given an email I got Friday, but there was looking like a very strong chance that you and I would both be at Sail GP in Portsmouth in July.
Yes, affirmative. End of June. Is that right? End of June. End of July.
Yeah, end of July, I think.
What's happened? You've been sacked.
No. I may have to be in another country straight after the UK. So whether I've got that weekend off or not, I don't know.
It's all about clearance, Bossy.
Clarence.
It's all about the clearance. Yeah, exactly.
Victor, Roger.
What else you got?
Oh, no, the only other one mentioning the NZ3 Kings offshore race.
Yeah. So I'm just been following what Sue Ellen's writing on Live, Sail, Die. So that's the Three Kings is it's a group of islands just off the very northern tip of New Zealand. So I think they go from Auckland right up, and they're all smoking back downhill at the moment under full kite, and they should. As we're recording, so it's Saturday morning, if Sue Ellen's listening to us, Saturday morning, and according to her, the leader is a boat called Clockwork. If they finish before 1:45 today, they can break the race record. So they're absolutely smoking in at the moment.
Nice.
There was a cyclone around that area the last week.
Yeah. They look cool. The Kiwis love a bit of offshore sailing and going fast, don't they? They definitely love hanging as much sail up and hanging on. And mad respect to them for it too.
K1W1. Stand proud, my friend.
Anything else, boys?
No, I think we're all good.
That's it, mate.
Wow. Well, we better mark this episode down as a special one, having Bice back. It was a rare treat. Grateful. Thanks, everyone, for listening to us. Make sure you jump onto Radix Nutrition. Use Barkerati as the discount code. If you want to go for a bit of a yacht and not lose your business, Disruptor Marine Marketing, DISRUPTA, disruptormarinemarketing.com.au. And, of course, our sun shirts at Vycobi. Jump onto the Vycobi website whilst you're getting some cool gear. Barkerati sun shirts where you can get them right there. People are loving those.
Big hit here.
Have a great week, everyone.
All right, bye then.
Thanks for listening. All right, bye then.
Farewell. Nice. See you, fellas.
Yeah.
Is the music playing?